This is a lesson all about the A chord. The A major chord, which this isn't because this is really a D chord, and this is an E chord, and this is an A chord. This lesson is all about the A chord and why you struggle with the A chord, because it's no fault of your own. And I'm going to explain why I play the A chord the way that I play the A chord. And I was very pleased to find out that two of the main guitar teachers on YouTube, Andy Guitar, who's a fellow Yorkshireman, and Justin Guitar, they play their A chord in the same way, and I think they probably think about it in the same way. Now, what we got is we've got a legacy of classical guitar technique, and a classical guitar's got a slightly wider neck, probably a bit more bulky. Therefore, there's a bit more territory. Kind of have to preface this with the sweet spot. Where you fret the note, it's going to determine how clear the sound of the note is and actually how hard you have to press. If I get to my whiteboard down here, you'll see is I've got 3 empty chord boxes. What we're going to do is I'm going to write in the picture that is the one that gets put in the guitar books all the time, and it usually looks something like this for an A chord. And that's the way the A is presented in books. And that is convenient for the typesetter. I think that's what it is. It's convenient for the typesetter. Now, the funny thing is, I remember presenting this to a student about 18 years ago, and this changed my whole outlook of how to fret chords. Because what you've got to do is you've got to build in the sweet spot. And this is what I mean about how hard it is to press down on the fret. And that's also about how much it hurts your fingertips as well. This student that I had was dyslexic, and they took the chord diagrams literally. And they literally tried to put their fingers on in that order in the middle of the fret. They couldn't do it. And the weird sort of machinations to try and get that made me think on about how to play this, how to teach this chord, in fact. So it changed completely how I teach chords, full stop. It's always about thinking about building in the sweet spot and reserving space for fingers. So essentially, what we want to do is we want to take this and we want to bin it. This idea, this diagram here, trying to play it literally does not work. Bin it. I'll put that down there because I'm going to come back to that. What we need to do is you need to understand what is the sweet spot. When you put your finger on a fret, the fret wire essentially becomes a new head note. That's what's happening. So it makes sense to press just behind it if you can. Not on it because you'll mute the string, but just behind it. So if I press this G string on the 2nd fret there, just behind it, I know when I pluck that string, it's not going to take much effort at all to hold that note down. And if I think about it on a scale of 1 to 10, that's about 3. If I pull it into the middle, it's still good, still a sweet spot. It does take a little bit more pressure, and I call that about 5 out of 10. However, this is where it goes wrong. When you hit the back of the fret there, you get buzz, you get all sorts of noise. And that's what I call the knot spot. So we don't want that. Now, as a net result, what happens with this chord here, this one here, how people translate that and actually end up playing it ends up being like this. And I'll just draw you the diagram. That is what ends up happening with your fingers. Now, I've seen some people compensate and use fingers 2, 3, and 4 instead of fingers 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, those fingers there. I've seen people compensate, but what you can see is finger 3 is in the 3 out of 10 sweet spot. Finger 2 is in the 5 out of 10 sweet spot. Finger 1 is in the 8 out of 10 spot. Now, you see this diagram, and it's in the book that's written by an expert, and you're a beginner, and you see that diagram, and you can't do it. Who do you think is going to think that they are wrong? You. That's it, I'll tell you. you are the one who's going to think that you're wrong, that you're doing something wrong. But it isn't. It's this legacy of writing it out this way because it's convenient for typesetters, for the books, and people need to rethink this stuff. So how do we work around this? It's quite simple. What we do is reorganize the fingers so that they're all in the sweet spot. Now, there's an added benefit to doing this because what it means is that it allows you to access chords that sound nice that are related to this one. So there, what you can see is by stacking the fingers in this order, with the first finger being in the 5 out of 10 spot, it enables you to get fingers 2 and 3 in the 3 out of 10 sweet spot. You avoid that whole 8 out of 10 dodgy, squeaky, bum note chord going on. Now, another thing to note, and I call these 2 finger groups. Fingers 2 and 3, the way we want them to work is we want them to work together. So those 2, because they share a tendon, the natural movement of pulling those together and working together means that you can put fingers 2 and 3 on at the same time. Now, this should make sense because the less movements you have in making something happen, the quicker it's going to be. So it's going to be a little bit quicker. Now, the way I play an A chord is I think of it as scouting the first finger. So you scout that first finger on the 2nd fret of that G string. And then what I do is I put fingers 2 and 3 on at the same time. Let me just bring the camera in close here, guys. So you can see I've got fingers 2 and 3 on there. I know that might feel strange. And at first I say it's okay to go finger 1, finger 2, and then finger 3. That's okay. But if you get this from the beginning, you will have this chord grip in no time at all. So if we scout that first finger, and then we put fingers 2 and 3 on at the same time, and then here's the secret. Here's the killer to learning this really quickly. You take fingers 2 and 3 off about 1 centimeter. Not very far at all. Take them off, put them back on. Take it off, put it back on. Take it off, put it back on. Take it off, put it back on. Keep doing that. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. And this is the beautiful thing. Repetition defeats challenges. It defeats it. That's the way you've got to do it. You've just got to keep on going at it and you will nail it. So we take that off, put it back on, take it off, put it back on, take it back off, put it back on. What's important as well is to come from this kind of perspective where you think to yourself, I'm playing an A chord and having instant recall. So when you put that one there, this one, first finger on here, 2nd finger, 3rd finger, yeah? You put them on there like that, so but it's getting that scout on as well. 1st, 2nd, 3rd. That's 2 movements to make that chord happen. Now, there is another reason why this is a beautiful chord change, and that's subject for another lesson, but here is the killer. Here's what you can do with this chord. If I take this chord here, and I move that first finger back, this is where I can get some magical sounds. Listen to this. I get an A major 7 chord. It sounds expensive. It's the sound of love. This is the chord you play on Valentine's Day to your other half. I love you, darling. It sounds very French to me for some reason. A major 7. Take the first finger off. You get an A7, which is a blues chord, which is wonderful, which is a wonderful sound as well. The beautiful thing about this as well is then this shape slides up and you can do other things with it as well. This shape crops up again and again. This finger grouping crops up again and again. D7 chord, it's there. It shouldn't feel strange. A D7 chord feels in the hand the same way an A major 7 chord feels. If I play that A there, and then I take that off there, I've got some beautiful voice leading on the G string from the 2nd fret there to the 1st fret to the open G string there. Something in the way she moves attracts me like no other lover. There is an application of it in use. Now, here's the thing. If we take that shape there, look, the buzzy, 8 out of 10. If I want to play an A major 7 after that, I have to switch to that shape anyhow. So why bother starting on this one, cut out the middleman and do this? Save yourself so much time, so much hassle. Do this one. And the beautiful thing is this finger figures into another chord progression thing that I call lift, shift, plant. But guys, think about your A in this way. It's easier to change to your other chords in the long run. What I'm saying here is I'm giving you the reasons why. It's really important for you to understand why this fingering is so much better than the standard grip. The standard grip is its legacy material from classical guitar education back in the day. People just regurgitate it because that's how they learn. You don't know what you don't know. The thing that taught me, like I say, was my dyslexic, dyspraxic student. That changed everything. And hopefully this will change how you play your A chord and you're going to find it a lot easier. Have a go at this, guys. I will include a PDF in the description.